Hey everybody, we're here for a new episode of RLG Cast Reviews. Today, I'm here with JohnnyDonuts 777. You might not have met him, but he's here every time. And also, I'm here with Putty, the Puttyman, who's also always here. So I don't know if you've met him, but you might have. He does
They don't
happen
pay
to
us, but
like,
we're here.
yeah, he does happen to have two favorite things, which are Superman and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Um,
Mm.
but we're gonna jump
Good
right
one.
into this because we're doing a review, and it's Venom 3.
The
Michael
Last
Jordan's Last
Dance.
Dance.
The Last Dance.
Why would
Flash
you pick that
Dance.
subtitle? There's a movie that just
I
came
don't
out, the
get it.
Michael Jordan movie called Last
I don't get
Dance.
it. We're gonna. It's because they danced. It's
Who
because they
would
danced.
maybe okay, but
They
Putty just
needed they needed the Donna Summer song. So let's
they
dance.
could have did
The
that.
Last
I would have
Dance.
took it. But
Uh,
Putty, go ahead, explain
oh,
it.
I'm like, yes. So I'm explaining Venom Last Dance. This is the third Venom of what they apparently what making it as a trilogy, where finally the overlord of the symbiotes finally is coming to take over the Earth, and Eddie and Venom have to finally work together to save the Earth from his xenomorphs. No, I know it's not xenomorphs, but might as well call them xenomorphs that are being dropped onto the planet.
The
So it's basically
dastardly aliens.
so the xenophages, sorry, the xenophages. It's basically Alien
Almost,
mixed with Venom mixed with Lord of the Rings. There you go.
but
That's
wasn't
too many
Xenophage
things.
used in something else, like in an X-Men comic or
No,
something?
see, I thought okay, so I thought the same thing. I thought they were the Brood. Apparently, the Brood and xenophages are totally different things. And I was like, really? I didn't find out until later. Xenophages are actually made are moved from Null, and that's why they're in this story because they were part of Null's story later on back in
Right, they were
2018
symbiote
later.
hunters.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so that's
I'm
basically
thinking
what's
the
going on there.
Phalanx.
Yeah, you're thinking. Well, no, I thought you were talking about the Brood because they were called the Brood, and they were
No,
the
no,
ones
I
that
was
would.
thinking the Phalanx, like
Okay,
the
well,
alien creatures that. Yeah,
either either way in the Marvel universe, there's a lot of bug-like creatures that take over the planet and like infest it that are huge. So that's the best way of putting it. So
Anyways, I'll tell you one thing this movie did well, and that was the handling of the character Null.
yes,
hmm
yeah, the
It's
only thing. Yep.
it's perfectly managed. They don't overuse him. They don't underuse him. We get enough to know what's going on. They make the character look cool. It looks like a Diablo cutscene. Eh,
wasn't it Andy Serkis that was null?
apparently,
Yep.
but it does not
Yep.
sound like him at all.
Well, he's that good.
I don't
So
believe he could do that voice. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's like the guy.
And
I
yeah,
like
I
the.
like that part.
You know who would have been a good voice for null? The guy who does the voice of Lorath in Diablo.
Or the
Lorath.
guy who does the voice of the Lorax in the Lorax.
Danny DeVito.
Is that who it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well I'll take it. Um, I don't think it's as bad as people are saying, and I think this has been a trend lately of me watching these movies. It's not good though. I wouldn't recommend it, I don't think. But it's just really simple. It's just a very simple movie. It's point A to point B. There's nothing else to it.
It's a paint by numbers.
The action
but
scenes are
but
fun. The rest of it is weird. There's a couple of decent performances. There's a couple of good characters. I don't think the comedy works at all. I think the comedy is played so childish. Like it thinks that it's
Yeah.
being Deadpool, but it doesn't realize that it's just being like a kids movie, but the movie's definitely not for kids. Which so I don't understand who they're trying to appeal to.
Yeah.
It's all
I
poop
don't I,
jokes.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a lot of poop jokes.
I mean, here's the thing. I still think the first Venom's still going to be bar none the best one out of all of them. You know what
Not
I
It
even
mean?
was.
close.
Really?
The first Venom is the best one. Yeah, we're
Yeah, it's not
agreeing.
even close.
The others don't
Oh,
come
okay.
close.
Okay, yeah. What Campo said is like not even close. Like it's not. Yeah. So and then let's now. But here's my thing. Let There Be Carnage. I feel like I felt like the same boat when it came to this and Let There Be Carnage. Like it felt like it that there's something missing from it because when it comes to like the only thing that the prime example is this. Noel was great. When I saw Carnage and Let There Be Carnage, I liked the way it looked. You know what I mean? But then like the story of Cassidy and that girl really pushed the story away. And that's the same thing that kind of happened with this. Once we didn't have Noel in the story, and we were just talking about how he's got to sacrifice his life, which a lot of plot holes in that situation when it comes to how he's got to sacrifice his life, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, the whole thing connection, like, why is it the connection happens now instead of like, which I know they say, but it's still kind of a broken plot line in my eyes. And then the other thing is like, they have so many of these xeno pages that they have an opening scene, but then how many do we get? Like a few. Like
It's okay. This is what I thought is weird. In the opening scene, like 30 of them come through, and then all the way until the end of the movie, this is mild spoiler. We only see one. Well, he kills one, and then there's one more.
Yeah.
So where did all the other ones go?
Yeah.
They disappeared.
And then why are all the other ones smaller?
Yeah. Yeah. See, there's a lot of things that again, I know what they're setting up, which when we get to deep into spoilers, I'll bring that up. I know what they're setting up and everything, but I actually saw this movie with some friends, and one of the friends, she apparently was a big Venom fan. I'm thinking she's just a big what's his name that plays it? Yeah, a Tom Hardy fan. That she said she loved the first movie, she loved the second movie, Let There Be Carnage, and she was so excited about this movie that she cried at the end. I go, "Are you actually crying?" Yeah, no joke. Okay. She's like, that movie was amazing. I go, she goes, you didn't like it? I said, it was okay.
Second one is actually awful.
Yeah.
I agree. But she thought it was amazing and everything. I kind of like Carnage still a little bit better than this. Maybe just because it's Carnage.
I think I like this one better than Carnage.
This one I agree. I think this one was better than the Carnage one.
I don't know. It's kind of hard either way for me because Carnage, I will agree, is really horrible. I guess it's just because it has Carnage and that's all I wanted. This one didn't. Only one I wanted in this one we got to see later in the movie. But then she had some special powers she never had in the comic book, which again we will get to that later because I don't want to do any spoilers yet. So
okay, well, let's just talk about this for a second. I thought visually the movie was okay. It's not super bad. Super
the
bad.
CG was actually good. The acting was.
There was one specific character that I thought looked so bad, and the animation was so awful for it. It was Toxin.
Yes,
I couldn't understand why that one character just looked so bad. Like, why did everyone else look fine and he looks so bad?
And why did they change the color? What does it make a difference? Like, I never understood that. Like, anyway, we'll get. I only think I could think of is because what I just talked about, Carnage. I think that's the only reason why they changed the color, and it's like so people wouldn't be confused. And I'm like, really?
Generally,
you're really
this
looking
movie
at
was on the borderline of being bad. It was like right on the cusp. Like, I wouldn't say it was good. I definitely wouldn't recommend this movie, but I wouldn't be like, oh, don't watch this. It's like it's decently entertaining enough that I don't think
you can watch it once. You don't need to watch it again.
It's definitely like it's on Netflix kind of movie, you know.
Well, I'm gonna put this way.
Yeah, I'm bored on a Saturday night. Hey, sure, let's watch Venom.
I'm gonna say this: when it comes to all the Venom movies, they've always changed it. But what felt consistent was at least the symbiotes when they looked, when the visually way they looked like they do in the comic books. You know what I mean? This one took such a drastic change when it came to some of the powers of some of them, which again, I don't want to go deep into it. That I think that's what also kind of made me not like it was because I get the storyline was good. I don't need to be so harsh on it now that I think about it. But it's like there's so many things as a fan that I go look and go, oh. You know, I sat there and played games like Maximum Carnage and then read the comic books. And then when they trailed into the series of the actual symbiote stories, like Maximum Carnage, we had all these great symbiotes that I was excited to see more of these involved into it. And so then when we finally get to that point, it was kind of let down that they were like, oh, our audience is kind of stupid. So let's change some things so they won't get confused. And that's what I hate when they do in these movies is like, our audience is going to be confused because the other movie. So let's change something. It's like, no. You got to look at your audience a little bit more intelligent than that. You know what I mean? But that's how I look at
it. Anything else before we go? Okay, scores.
Spoilers? 5.5.
5.5.
5.
All right, that's not that bad. I thought it was going to be way worse than that. Yeah, it's a thing. We're going to go full spoilers now. So if you don't want spoilers, you can leave. I thought immediately going into spoilers that I have two big things. Number one, why did they kill off every single symbiote so that they screwed themselves over going into the next phase? Okay,
yeah, because they want to use Null.
Why was it so easy for them to kill everything off? Yeah, but to use Null, you need there to be symbiotes.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, why does Agni have electricity powers?
Why for 3 movies? Actually, in the first one, he's kind of OP, so I'll give it to him. But for at least the last 2 movies, why is Venom so weak? Why is Spider-Man so much stronger in the movies that he's in than Venom is? Like, I don't get it. He's literally the weakest person by far in every movie he exists in, except maybe the first one.
And in the first one, they literally made
Well, I mean, they need to make Venom look a little weaker in the second because Carnage is more powerful than Venom.
but he's weaker to compared to everyone else in that movie.
That's
Mhm.
true.
And then same in this, he's like the weakest by far of everyone who exists in this world, and it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
And then, for example, all the symbiotes. Why is it that we couldn't at least get recognizable symbiotes? The only one we got was Agony and what's his name? The cops. I forgot his name right now.
We said Toxin too. We got Toxin too.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember his name. We got Toxin and basically Agony. The other ones, I was like, I was looking at them and I go, these don't look like familiar symbiotes that I'm familiar with. Agony, I know, but the problem with Agony is, why did she have electricity in the comic books? I swear to God, she didn't have electricity in the comic books.
I don't remember.
Please prove me wrong. I'm pretty sure she didn't. But that's my point. Those things made me go, what the
There
heck
is an
going on
electricity
here?
one, symbiote. I don't know if it's
No, is there? I'm pretty sure there isn't. But
Yeah, I'm pretty
can
sure
we get
there
Timmy
is.
on that? Can we get Timmy on that?
Timmy's on it. Timmy's on it.
Yeah.
Timmy's been on
But
it probably.
Scream, which wasn't Let Them Be Carnage.
Right.
Okay. Then we had Lasher, Phage, Agony, Riot, Mania, Sleeper, and Carnage.
Yeah, we
Do
could
any of them
used
have electricity power?
Timmy's on it.
What are we paying Timmy for?
We're not paying
Yeah,
Timmy.
right.
That's the
Oh,
thing.
that makes sense.
But while he's looking that up, I think that's what really hurt this movie for me was I could not look past that, and especially the toxin thing. It's like, did they think, okay, he's toxin, let's make him look green? And it's like, well, but he's actually red. That'll confuse them because of Carnage. I go, people aren't stupid. It's literally a different character. I mean, a different actor, a different character. They could have changed this form. He doesn't have to look like Carnage. Like, I feel like they dumbed this down so much for the audience when it comes to stuff like that, that it just felt like, and again, it's always been a case when it comes to Sony films in my eyes, no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reason why I feel the first Venom at least has a little more intelligence when it comes to its characters and how to make growth with these characters than the last
So
two.
Venom in the Ultimate Universe had electricity powers.
Just Venom though.
Yeah.
So
And
there you
that's
go.
where they got the whole idea of the Venom power for Miles Morales.
But of course, it wasn't Agony. Like I was right.
No.
It was not Agony. And see, that's
No.
my point. I don't understand why Sony has this whole idea of like, oh, we got to change some things. People aren't going to watch this movie if we don't add some little things.
Because
Like,
they
no, they'll
think they
still
have their fingers on the pulse.
Oh, they do not. They don't even have a pulse.
Exactly.
And this is their finger far away from the pulse.
Jammed straight up their ass. Listen, that's what it is. I genuinely believe that. It's like, because look at the way that all these movies are written. It's like the person who wrote it literally doesn't care. They're like, write us
Yeah.
a movie about a
Mhm.
thing. Okay. And then they're like,
The other thing I find it hard to understand, if they're really wanting to connect these universes together, they have two different characters, two different actors playing the same character now. Because we got Teddy Payne and Morbius. You got Thaddeus Payne and Morbius, but you have Dr. Theodora Payne and Venom. So now there's two different playing the same character.
maybe
Thaddeus
not in the
Payne, for
same
those who don't know,
universe.
Thaddeus Payne was the one who captures and tortures Eddie Brock in the comics.
And see, here's the other thing too. It's funny. This is going outside of the world, but you know, there's they made a big deal because they released both Agony Skin and they released She Venom and Fortnite for skins. This thing, and the She Venom one, it says here to help Eddie or here as a new ally for Eddie. So what happened was there was a lot of stuff. Oh, She Venom's going to be in the movie, so they ended up taking out and just saying an ally, not a new, but just an ally. Then all of a sudden the movie comes out and she's literally just one scene carrying Venom to another girl. She Venom had more highlight in the first movie than she ever did in this movie. So it's like when it comes to Sony, I'm looking at the reason I bring this up is I bring it up as a Sony. Sony has this weird thing where they think they know their topics, but unless Kevin Feige takes over and lets the Marvel side of Disney take over for like the Spider-Man movies, they don't know what they're doing. Like they used to. Where did this
but I would
drop off?
argue in the modern era of MCU, which I talked about a lot today outside of this. So that's post Endgame. That's what I'm calling the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
He has no idea what he's doing anymore, Kevin Feige.
Right, I agree.
He just happens to be hiring people that seem to be competent at their job for the most part. Not most of the product has been bad, but it's getting to the point where he's just becoming George Lucas. He's lost control. He doesn't know where he's going. He's not connected to the source material anymore. Yeah. He's beyond his limit. And you need to start hiring people who know about comic books. You need to start getting your Jon Favreau in and those guys into your Marvel universe soon before it gets out of control. Like you reverted to getting Robert Downey Jr. back. What the fuck is that move? That is the dumbest
actually,
move I've ever seen
well,
in comic book history.
but there's a whole idea that they have, and if
No,
it
the
works,
idea is bad. I don't care what the idea is. The idea
you've
is
heard
bad.
of it. Okay. Anyway,
I don't need to hear it. I know what
I'm
it
not
is,
going to
but
tell you.
I no, but I don't need to even have heard it. Regardless of how good the story they're telling is, this is the dumbest idea of all time. Why would you do this?
Again, I don't know. We'll see if it works out, but the way that I was told. But anyway, going back to this is me going back to this. When Sam Raimi had the Spider-Man movies, they were amazing outside the third one. Okay, well, Sam Raimi really don't count for that because he didn't want Venom in the first place. So then, of course, we get Amazing Spider-Man, which I'm not saying they're the worst Spider-Man movies, but they're not good. But then all of a sudden, when we went to the Spider-Man MCU universe, then okay, they got better. You know what I mean? Because Kevin Feige was involved, that kind of thing. So then Sony on their end is like, we're gonna make these movies that are branched off to Spider-Man, and every single thing that's been consistently made outside of maybe Venom, the original Venom, has been horrible. Like I have people tell me, I can't wait to see Kraven the Hunter. I go, based on their track record, I'm worried for this movie. And see, people even told me that the girl I told you I saw this movie with, she said, but I actually like Morbius. I'm like, what?
I actually like Morbius.
See, I didn't. And see,
I actually like Madam Web.
No. I mean, again, Sony's just on a bad track record, but because people still go to see these movies,
I'm not going to pay to go see these movies. I'm not supporting this, but I'm not going to be an armchair critic of movies that were made to just be stupid fun. And like
I get it.
They're enjoyable enough to watch it for what they are. I completely understand it. Do I agree with it? No, because I think if you're spending this much money and you're trying to compete in this world, we shouldn't be making 1999 comic book movies anymore. We should be trying to make proper shit. But I'm also not going to be upset that these movies were made like stupidly and they're fun. Like I have a good time watching all of these except Venom Part 2. I can't stand Venom Part 2. It's so not fun. And the second Spider-Man movie, Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's 3 hours and it's so boring and it's not a good movie.
I don't know. I feel like
speaking of Amazing Spider-Man 2, did you think that Reese Erfran's character was going to be Doc Connors?
They did that on purpose. It was talked about by multiple like outlets that Sony purposely did that in the promotional material to make people think that was going to happen.
To get buzz on the movie. Okay.
Yeah. But either way, it is what it is. I'm not going to like
I liked his character, don't get me wrong.
I think Morbin time it's time to Morb, and I think it's time to Madam Web, and I'm all on board for the memes. Not going to recommend any of those movies. Not going to give you a good score in any of those movies. But I'm not butthurt by them. I'm more butthurt by MCU that should be making good movies, making shit movies. And the DCEU at the same time. And whatever fucking Bloodshot was, Jesus Christ! Like you guys, come on. You tried to dip a toe in the game, and that's what you gave us. Who makes that? Valiant? Is that Valiant?
Valiant Comics, yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this going into it. The only thing I've seen that's really, really up to caliber of even saying something like The Dark Knight, which again, we still have one more episode and we will be reviewing it on this channel, is The Penguin. So far, that show has been amazing.
I love how you're like, it's up to the caliber of The Dark Knight. The last Batman movie was amazing and it's part of that universe.
Well, no, not the Batman's not part of The Dark Knight.
The Batman's part of that Penguin universe.
Oh no, I agree with that. But I mean, I'm saying as far as I still feel Dark Knight's better than the Batman is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the Batman is really good, and the Penguin is as good as the Batman.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
Get it. I get what you're saying.
Universe. Anyways, the Penguin is really good.
And we'll get to that.
Great use of the cures of Forest.
For
anyone who gets that reference. But yeah, I don't know. This movie's not good, but it's entertaining enough. It's watchable. I like I said, I won't recommend it, but I'm also if you're bored and it's on Netflix, like why not watch it? And considering going back to what you were saying just before we end this, the promotional material for Kraven looks really good.
I agree, 100%. Even the trailer looks that newest trailer they put out. I was like, oh, this looks sick. But then I keep in my head all these Sony movies,
Oh,
and I go,
that's going to be
oh,
all the best parts.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. Is all those parts I saw that were really awesome. I'm be like, that's gonna be the part that makes me go cool, and that's all there is to it. Like, I'm still gonna go see it in theaters like I usually do, because I'm happy to go back to theaters since this whole storm situation happened. But I'm gonna go in thinking, you know what? Don't go in with high expectations because maybe it'll be better with with the low expectations.
And
that
by the
you're
way,
working
they
with.
stole the line from The Dark Knight here. At the beginning, when Null's talking to the things, he goes, "Bring me the Batman." He literally says that, but not Batman.
He does,
But it's like, and
yeah.
he says it with the same cadence and the same everything as Joker does.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Anyways, that's it. We're not talking anymore. Thank you for watching.
You
Tell us what
are
you
my
think in
number
the
one
comments, and peace
guy.
out.
We are Venom.